what's next? Let's talk a little hockey. Let's talk a little baseball. NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman has recently said he's now targeting January 1st as a potential start date for the next hockey season. I've got to be honest. Knowing what I know, seeing what I see, it's very ambitious. It's not impossible by any means. But I do think it would take a lot of things to fall in place the right way for that to become a reality. I mean, I assume we're talking about a shortened season. If you try 82 starting on January 1st, that's going to be a heavily condensed season, or it's going to run you well into the summertime. And then you also have the problem of trying to start the next season on time if you go like into late July or even August. It just doesn't work out very well. So shortened season probably, also shortened and condensed season. I think they want to maximize the games in the shortest amount of time. But I wonder how they're going to do this. You know, hockey was perfect in Edmonton and Toronto. They had 2 bubbles. They were hard bubbles. They worked, like I said, to perfection. Literally nothing wrong about the way they pulled it off, except for the fact that it was so hard on the players. I mean, taxing, and they only had that for a couple months and to try and all win the Stanley Cup. And I don't know, based on what a lot of NBA players said, I don't know how it would go to try and convince all the teams, all 31 teams, to try and be in this bubble for an entire regular season and beyond. So I don't know if that's in the cards. I also don't know if the NHL is looking at it and saying, well, baseball just did not a full season. They just did a season in respective empty home arenas, and maybe they'd try to pull that off too. I really don't know. But another thing to consider here, and I probably should have said this earlier, you have 7 Canadian teams. And as recently as this summer, I mean, the Toronto Blue Jays of Major League Baseball, they were not even allowed to play in Toronto. They had to play all their home games in Buffalo, New York. The Canadian government would not allow Major League Baseball teams to cross the border. How's it going to go with 7 hockey teams up north? It's interesting. Maybe they'll be their own bubble. Maybe we're going to see a realignment, a temporary realignment for this upcoming season. I don't know. I do not know. But again, January 1st, interesting, doable, challenging, shortened season. I think all those things are in play right now. And then how about baseball? I mean, what's interesting about baseball is that time is actually on their side. Just a little bit more. Right? They wouldn't even be starting spring training until mid-February, opening day, early April. So time, to a little extent, is on their side. The challenging thing is that they're also planning to pull off 162 games, a full slate of baseball next season. I'm talking about coast-to-coast travel, interleague play. The 162 that you've come to know and love over the years, they're going to try and do that in 2021. Now, look, they did just pull off 60 games, but it was very different. AL and NL West, AL and NL Central, AL and NL East. Essentially 3 looser bubbles. But a lot of players just came off that season saying it was one of the hardest of their career. And it was only 60 games, but all the extra stuff they go through, the challenges, the worries, what does that say? And whether you combine baseball and hockey or not, whether you keep them separate, we haven't even addressed the state of North America, how the COVID situation would be doing in Canada, as well here as in the United States. So that is a third and ultimately most important element to anything that baseball or hockey is or is not able to do.